Hi Fox, how are you doing? Yet another round of the Gashimov Memorial is in the books, and what can we do? Once again, the game by Magnus Carlsen is the only decisive one in this round in the A group, and besides it probably is more the most interesting one. So only the pairing by itself it's quite interesting. We have Nakamura as white, we have Magnus Carlsen as black, with all that Sauron and Nakamura being the biggest threat of Magnus Carlsen, etc. Trash talking going on. So well, the game is really interesting whenever these two players are on the board. Let's see what Hikaru played today. He went for d4, and once again we see this very cute 4f3 Nimzo-Indian variation. It seems to be very trendy lately between top GMs. I mean, apart from the famous Berlin game, this may be the most played opening lately. I mean, even Mamedyarov, Karjakin, Nakamura, everybody has been playing this against India lately, so it's beautiful to see this interesting opening be so popular at top level. Now, Carlsen has had to face this more than once recently, very recently in this tournament in Zurich, so he deviates. Right now he plays c5 instead of playing b5 or castle, for instance, which are possibilities. In his last game versus Nakamura, he didn't play like this, but now he got c5, another possible move here. Now d5 was played, and Magnus goes ahead to castle. Now, remembering a little the candidates tournament, there was a very interesting game there in which Karjakin went b5 with black pieces against Mamedyarov. Just a couple of weeks ago, it went on with e4, castles, e5. The knight went back to e8, now f4, exchange on d5 and e6, and it was a really interesting game. Has white overextended his central pawns? Maybe he has. Really a bizarre looking position, certainly. Okay, so after d5, Carlsen didn't go for this, he used castles. And d4, this is what white wants to achieve, a huge pawn center. And well, of course, in exchange, black has something, and that something is being well ahead in development. In fact, white has only played his knight to c3, the rest of the pieces are here on their sitting on the first rank, still doing nothing. But okay, this is chess, and you have to give up something to achieve something. The question is, what of those will be more important? Now d6 and bishop d2 was played. I mean, knight g2, for instance, is another move which has been played here, but maybe not in the exact order I'm going to show. Black may be some ideas with b5, c takes, a6, like kind of Benko gambit ideas. With bishop takes a6, have an even more being even more ahead on development. So maybe I'm repeating notes, not in this exact move order. Sorry, but black may have this kind of ideas. So maybe to stop it, or maybe even to get this bishop developed. Bishop d2 was played by Nakamura. Now if b5, okay, the knight could take it easily, so it's not pinned anymore. Of course, b5 wasn't played. For instance, the game between Leo Quanglian versus Nakamura 2011 went on with rook e8. Now knight g2, a6, probably willing to go b5, a4, e takes, c takes, knight h5 was played, threatening to go there, g3, f5, a really crazy game was played in 2011, I think, between the Vietnamese strongest GM and Nakamura. But okay, Carlsen didn't went through b8, he played knight b7, looking natural as well, but of only 4 games in the online database, which is not really trendy position. Right now, this one more or less a fresh one, and the most notable game maybe being one played by the Dutch GM Erwin Lamy in 2013. Knight g2 is played here, and now beautiful move by black, threatening a very beautiful checkmate in one on d3. For instance, if white just blitzes his move without thinking, this would be very nice way to finish the move, checkmate white in 9 moves. So this would be something to be worried about if you're white and you allow this checkmate. But okay, Nakamura saw this fortunately, so he plays knight g3. Now the bishop covers d3 square. E takes, c takes was played. Taking with the e pawn is probably very dangerous. The e file now is open for heavy black pieces to occupy e8, and the king still being here seems really dangerous. Of course, e takes e5 more natural, much more solid. Bishop d7 developing pieces, a3, and now since b4 isn't very easy for white to play, black just doesn't have to give up his bishop pairs so far. Bishop e2 is played, and b5, grabbing space on the queen side, so it seems it is b5 is hanging, so it could be taken, but is it any good to take it? Let's take a look here. Well, first of all, taking with the bishop, not playable, because after bishop takes c3, removing the defender of the b5 bishop, black has taken a piece. He's threatening to take another one with check. The one on b5 is hanging, so this is 0-1. The game is over basically. Taking with the bishop wasn't very playable, but okay, taking with the knight, maybe not that bad, but probably wasn't either very great idea. Now black could take, bishop takes, and activating his rook b8, attacks and the bishop, x-rays the b2 pawn, so black gets enough counterplay to, well, maybe at least recover his pawn, or even if not, he has tons of development and really compensation for the pawn. So Nakamura goes solid and sound. He just castles, completes development, and Carlsen grabs some early space in the queen side with this c4 move, reducing white pieces mobility. And now we're gonna see a couple of series of moves in which both players will try to regroup their pieces. You know, there are lots of pawns here on the center, both black and white, black pawns here on the queen side, and both sides have some limitations for the mobility of their pieces. So now we're gonna see some maneuvers to improve pieces. We see the bishop going to 3. The black bishop goes to b6. Now queen d2. Rook b8 is played. Maybe some ideas to play a5. I don't know. Knight d1. Bishop c8. Maybe to go to b7, or even sometimes a6. Maybe a place. King h1, so that the bishop is not pinned anymore. It can go, I don't know, maybe to f4, g5 if white wants to. Knight fd7, probably to go to c5. It could be an interesting square to put the knight in. f4, attacks the knight. Knight goes back. Now Nakamura decides to exchange the bishop on b6. Rook takes, and he puts the knight on e3. Well, white has some central pawns here, and definitely may have something going on the center / king side, while black has a little space on the queen side, and well, somehow he must coordinate his pieces, try not to leave too many positional advantages to white, and we'll see what happens. He put the knight on c5 so far. Now white goes bishop b1, probably to put it on c2, I guess. And knight d3, seems natural to put the knight on a very protected square there on d3. f5, attacks knight. Now knight gf4 is precise. Both knights defend each other. After knight ge5, f6 may create some complications to black, and Carlsen doesn't want this for sure in this exact position. This is dangerous. So knight g a4. Now a4, trying to activate the rook on the a file, trying to open the a file for the rook. A6 and knight g4. Maybe I guessed with ideas of playing f6 so that the black queen cannot take it at the first move, and maybe to face this strong knight on d3 through f2. So the knight goes to g4 and we reach some critical positions. Carlsen plays h5, and here, well, Nakamura went on with knight f2. It was pointed out that rook f taking on f4 was a real serious move, trying to get an edge, and it seems that this was a favorable position, favorable move for white. The move would be followed probably with h takes g4, taking knight there, and now rook takes g4, knight e5 for instance, intermediate very interesting a5 move, and the point is going to be that this bishop on c8 is going to be locked up here for a long time. It's going to be pretty much a useless piece, and apart from that, white is winning a pawn. So after, for instance, rook b7, rook g5, black pieces, apart from the knight on e5, aren't really very well placed. So it seems this was giving white some edge, some real edge. Apart from that, there was this another line after rook takes f4. This knight takes on f4, knight h6 was the move, g takes, now queen takes on f4, and there are lots of weaknesses for black. Apart from the same issue as in the previous line, the bishop on c8 is going to have a hard time to be useful. Now h6 and h5 are under attack as well. If queen g5, queen goes back to f2, and once again the bishop is a problem. So it seems this line after h5 taking on f4 was giving white some serious possibilities. Instead, Nakamura played knight f2, queen f6 was played, and here for the second time Indian says that there is something better than what Hikaru played. He went on taking on d3, but there was the chance to take on h5. Pawn, if knight takes, now knight takes d3, c takes. Once again, this intermediate nice move a5, attacking the rook, rook goes back, bishop takes h5, and similar issues as previously with this bishop are giving white some interesting possibilities. At least it seems so. But okay, after queen f6, Nakamura just took on d3, knight recaptures, and he played queen 3. Here, taking on h5 maybe wasn't that great, but still was, I guess, possible. The point is that p2 right now is hanging, so the queen could take there, and well, not taking on d2 here, because after knight takes, suddenly black has some dangerous passed pawn here, and the knight could be doing some nasty things here. But instead, complicated move bishop c2, self-pinning your own queen, but also threatening maybe to go with the rook b1, attacking here. So, well, complicated position. The computer says this is more or less equal, but well, there really seems to there are some complications here, some complicated methods going on. Okay, instead knight takes d3 was played, and queen e3, attacks the rook, goes back to d7. Finally, Nakamura takes on h5 with the knight, and Carlsen offers a queen exchange on h6, which is accepted. Queen takes, g takes, a takes, e takes. Now the a file is free for the rook to play, but there is the b2 which is hanging. So Nakamura just ignores it. He plays bishop c2. Interesting way of giving back the pawn. If Carlsen had taken it, I guess the idea might be to check on f6, force black king, for instance, to go to h8, and now play rook a6, attacking the d6 pawn, x-raying the h6 pawn, and well, for instance, rook b8, rook f a1, b4, and well, black has certainly weaknesses here. His king may be an issue here, but he has a couple of strong passed pawns on the b and c file, and I think this is a complicated position, really a sharp one, and an interesting one to analyze. But instead, after bishop c2, Carlsen didn't take it, he just went back with knight d5. Rook a6, rook d8, attacking and defending the pawn on d6. Knight g3, the knight goes back. After rook b8, black is regrouping his pieces. After a couple of pieces, after the queens have been exchanged. Rook a7, b4, really strong pawns here, and a source of counterplay, definitely source of counterplay for Carlsen. Knight d2 is played. The knight goes back for defensive purposes. It's defending c3 because black is already threatening to create a passer here. Bishop d7, and well, all of a sudden, I mean, maybe white has played a little bit passive here, not really sure if there was something really much better in this couple of previous moves, but all of a sudden black has created coordination with his rooks connected. The bishop is going to b5, as we will see. The knight is well placed, and he has a couple of nice pawns here. So this is giving Carlsen quite a play. Rook a1 was played, and now the bishop goes to b5, x-raying the knight on e2, h3, rook dc8, putting the rook on the correct open file, just ignoring the d6 pawn. Nakamura keeps playing a little passive, I guess. I don't know really why king h2. I mean, it's not in the first rank anymore, but it seems really some precise moves were needed here, and it is suggested the rook b1 move, anticipating c3, which is going to be played. Now the knight is under attack, so knight b4, b3, and if knight takes b3, cool move here, bishop d3, attacking c2, which is, by the way, the only defender of the b3 knight. Also, this bishop is pinned to the rook on b1, so really a little mess going on here. It is suggested here bishop takes, knight takes. The knight is under attack. He takes c3, defends it with the rook on b1, but now rook takes c3, attacking it twice. It is pinned, so rook a3, and knight c5. This poor knight is going to be lost, it seems, because it's attacked 3 times and defended only 2. There are no more ways of defending it. Okay, white has won a couple of pawns, but he's going to lose the knight. And well, really a messy position, a messy, complicated line with lots of tactical things going on. But it seems this was probably better than just passive waiting moves. So after king h2, now finally Carlsen goes with c3, attacking the bishop, the knight d4, c takes b2, rook b1, and rook c4. At this point, the position is already seems winning one. I mean, rook is attacking the knight, the bishop there. Knight takes b5, rook takes c2 is more or less forced. After rook knight d4, really surprising to see Carlsen not playing the b3 move here, which seems to be really winning on the spot, more or less. Of course, it's easy to say it with an engine in front of you, but of course, if knight takes c2, even I can see that we take c2, it's game over. Black is winning by queening, as Jan Gustafsson said. And if otherwise, I don't know, knight c6 is suggested, but just knight f3 check, the pawn cannot take, the rook is pinning the pawn. King g3 and knight d2 attacks b1, and I assume the game is over. So I didn't see the press conference, so I'm wondering if anybody could point it out on the comments. I'd be grateful. What was Magnus thinking about this move? Why didn't he play it? Did he overlook it, just missed it? Thought that rook d2 was winning as well, whatever. Rook d2 is what he played, and well, I mean, this may be still winning, but it seems b3 watching was much easier. Knight c6 here, and rook e8. Now black doesn't want to give white passed pawn on the c file already on the 6th, does he? This would be too much of a relief for white. Instead, rook e8, and now rook a4. Well, it seems white had this line, rook takes, going into this rook's endgame, rook a2, and liquidating into a single rook's endgame with this exchange on b2, king g7, and okay, of course black is better, he has a passed pawn, but as we know, rook endgames can be somehow drawish sometimes, so there might be some chances here for Hikaru to win, to draw. It may not be that easy to win this endgame for black. But instead, rook a4. Now black has some knight jumping moves, knight d3, knight takes b4, but the idea of black is go knight f2, rook a2 attacks the pawn. He's going to defend it with knight d1, and which is more important, is threatening a pin here, a really deadly pin over both rooks, so white is more or less forced, I guess, to take on e1. Rook takes, finally gets off this danger black pawns on the b and c file. There are no more passed pawns to black, but has lost the exchange. So black takes on e4, and well, this is technically winning, I guess, for black. And as we will see, the world champion doesn't fail to execute this. The knight goes to c6, king g7, f6 check, trying to create some complications against black king, but Magnus will show us there is no real danger. Rook f2 check, king d6, knight d8 is attacking f7, but after rook e8 attacking the knight, and well, Nakamura just resigned because it seems there is really nothing serious he can do against black king. For instance, if he just takes on f7, black could take on b5, and similarly if the knight goes anywhere else, like going to b7, black can always take on d5, and technically this is just winning. Of course, the world champion has more than enough technique to win this, so Nakamura resigned, and there it goes. He still has these real serious problems about playing Magnus Carlsen. I think he has a very horrendous score against the world champion. But there it goes. As long as they provide us with these interesting games, it will be really nice to see them playing on the board. Thanks for watching.